morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? Welcome in on this well, it's beautiful in my neck of the woods Saturday morning. Butterfly, good to see you could join us. Wish it was under better circumstances, but happy to have you here as always. Hybrid Pisces, we have another show coming up later today. Leva, welcome in. It's been a minute since we've been able to see you as well. Moore's dog mom. I was wondering how many of you guys would be up this morning and available for a chat or a case update show. Moore's dog mom got in here first. Um, yeah, we wondered. I was starting to wonder what were we seeing here, right? They hinted at more charges coming down the other day, and we're like, well, is this prosecutorial overreach? Is it just horrible, horrific child neglect, or is there more, right? And it's still weird, y'all. There's still something weird going on here. So we'll get into it of what we know of the latest updates. Now, YouTube is not friendly to this particular content, but that's okay. We still need our update, right? So we'll handle it with caution. But I got the banner up. I mean, it's not going to get too graphic. There's not the stuff is all sealed up, details. But the few shows I have ran on this particular subject, YouTube's like, that's some horrific content. And I'm like, I know, man, it's bad. It's bad. But this is still a weird case. There's still something that don't quite I don't under we're there's still something a piece missing, right, that we don't know, because we're hearing that Siders Jr. initially was being surveilled or whatever, and this indecent exposure charge came. Now this new indictment stuff is like, what in the world was really going on here? So we'll get into it. Yeah, right. It's finally developing and getting some movement, so we can. And remember, it is a sealed case, and the charges are going to be, horrific to look into. But um, one thing that I like to try to fit, holding true crime and discussing this content. None of us are here for gore, but what can we look for, you know, going forward? What would you do if you had a neighbor that you got suspicious of, or saw some kids over and over that you got suspicious of? What red flags to look for in the future? And how do we help prevent these types of things going forward? That's always what I try to use as our biggest takeaways when we are discussing these cases. What can we learn and use going forward, right? And help everybody try to understand what's going on here. Good morning, Forrest. How are you? We are always happy to have our voice of reason come in. Butterfly says, I'm still confused. It was the new charges for the dollar. It's very confusing, Butterfly. So we think there's a couple of things were happening at the same time. It appears. With the your because I shared. Okay, so yesterday when we got offline and everything, Anjanette Levy dropped a piece over at Law and Crime with these new indictments, allegations, right? And there were things said in there. And then when I went and got the press release and started doing some more research, I was like, what's really going on here? So I got a good piece from the local media there, because I always love to go to the local media as well. So we have a news clip from there, but we'll start out reading the media release from the authorities. So we have that, and we have their press conferences, and I also have I don't know I can't remember, guys, because so much has been going on. Plus the Nancy Guthrie coverage and the trial we've been doing. I don't know if we ever watched together here the jailhouse videos when Siders Jr. and Elizabeth were brought in. I think I might have done some videos or some shorts on it. I have to go back and look, but we have that stuff too. Um, yeah, I agree, Levis. I went and found us a great local, because they have their boots on the ground, right? They got the more better information, in my opinion. And there's a couple of local media outlets there that were really super diving into everything, the records, doing the FOIA requests and all that. So I like to go back and check out what they're doing. And I wanted this to be a separate show than what we're going to do later. So that's why I decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and go live and we'll do this and then we'll go back later and do our other show. All right, let me pull up my folder here. Okay, we'll start with the with the press release from the media, or from, I'm sorry, Ohio Attorney General Office. Andy Wilson is his name, Mr. Andy. I'll get that on the screen. And I don't think we can get our hands on the indictment yet. I don't know if anybody else has it yet, because they did seal records, a while back in this case. Let me make this where I can adjust everything right. Okay, you guys, can y'all see everything okay? Hang on, let me refresh my chat screen. Like, I'm a little behind. Here we go. We did watch those videos. Okay, Forrest, I thought we did. All right, so I'll read this. So these were grand jury indictments, guys, and we knew that they had their grand jury in that one county just like met every few months, and they was wondering, did they put out a special grand jury, whatever. So now this is 8/21/26. Benton County Grand Jury issues indictments on child SA endangerment case. It says, all right, so 8/21/2026. This is MacArthur, Ohio. Benton County Grand Jury today issued indictments in 3 criminal cases involving SA abuse and child endangerment. Benton County Prosecutor William Archer, Benton County Sheriff Ryan Kane, and Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson announced. The charges stem from criminal investigations conducted by Benton County Sheriff's Office and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations, also known as the BCI. The cases are being prosecuted by the Benton County Prosecutor's Office with the assistance of the Highland County Prosecutor's Office and the Attorney General's Special Prosecution Section. Investigation 1. Okay. Did Grizzly have the actual indictment documents? Maybe I'll DM her. Maybe they'll share them. A Grizzly Cat usually gets them all for her. I haven't even checked over there to see if she's got them or if Plunder actually has them yet. Because they didn't release them on this press release, right? So we'll check that out. I haven't watched Grizzly in a minute. I saw she did cover that one case for old Isabel, where we've been looking for Isabel all over Northwest Florida for a hot minute. They finally found her grubby little ass. I saw Grizzly was covering that. That's such a local case, right? We've all been looking for you, Isabel. You've been found. You've been had, girl. She was wanted on murder charges, y'all. She got arrested finally. She was hiding out in the woods. Par for the course in Northwest Florida. Run for the woods. No running for the hills around here. We run for the woods. Yeah, probably Grizzly Cat got them. Okay, we'll check. We'll go see if they got them. If they didn't put them out on Twitter or in the description, maybe I can hit her up and maybe she'll share them with us. They're public record, right? Maybe they'll have them on the Ohio website. I didn't even check. Okay, so let's read this. I'll finish reading this. The cases are being prosecuted. If one of y'all want to drop Grizzly's link, I don't mind. And y'all can check her out. She's pretty thorough with her stuff as well. So No problem there. All right, investigation one. In December of 2025, so last year, at the request of the Benton County Sheriff's Office, BCI's Special Victims Unit opened an investigation into allegations of SA involving two children. This investigation resulted in the indictments against two South Bloomingville men. Now, these men are not ciders, right? Excuse me, got the hiccups again. They weren't the ciders. Um, Josh Saunders, he's 23 years old. He was indicted on four charges, three counts of R. I don't even want to say grape. I feel like a child, but R, y'all get it. F1 is in parentheses there. Hillbilly crime probably does because she's up in that region, right? She gets all the good Kentucky documents and Mickey Stein's too, and it's hard as hell to get a Mickey Stein's document. I just wish people would share them when they get them. They act like they're gold. And in Kentucky, you need to be a resident because I trust me, I've looked into it, and I don't. It's annoying when they're just not shared. Go ahead and put your timestamp, your watermark all over it if you need to. Just share the damn document. We like to read them for ourselves, but thank you. Um, Maybe she'll share them. In the past, not so much. I've tried, but we'll see. Anyway, Josh Saunders, 23, three counts of R, and one count of gross sexual imposition. So when I looked that up for Ohio, right? Hold on, because I want to make sure we understand what that means. Because it could mean different things for different states, right? They all have their set of names they've named things, for lack of a better term at the moment. Okay, so um, is a criminal charge the primarily defined under laws like the Ohio Revised Code section of 2907.05 that involves non consensual sex act or sexual contact, rather. Unlike R, gross sexual imposition generally involves unwanted touching of an erogenous zone, sorry, rather than SA penetration. Ugh. It includes aggravating factors like force, impairment, or young victim age. Okay, so now that we know what that actually means in Ohio, ugh. Okay, thanks guys for. All right, there's Grizzly's link, and we will be also looking for the docs, guys. All right. Brandon Henderson Sr., 40, also indicted on 21 charges, one count of endangering a child, two counts of endangering children, four counts of gross S imposition, four counts of gross sexual imposition. So he's got that twice. Eight counts of S battery, and two counts of endangering children. Now, again, this is a Brandon Henderson, 40, and a Josh Saunders. Now, from what I recall, that I think I saw that in the local segment we're going to watch. This Henderson guy has ties to Siders Jr.'s sister, I think. Okay. The men were arrested today without incident in Benton County and Ross County Sheriff's Offices. So I guess they were in separate counties. Investigation number two. Information obtained in the first investigation. So when they were investigating those two guys on their SA charges of the children or child involved, whichever it may be, I think it's two. Now they have a second investigation open. Information obtained in the first investigation prompted BCI in March 2026 to open a second investigation. This one involving allegations of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. On June 30th, authorities executed a search warrant at 182 Omar Street, a resident in Hamden. The investigation led to the indictments of Gary Siders Jr., 36, and his wife Elizabeth Siders, 33. So Gary Siders Jr. was indicted on four charges, two counts of sexual battery and 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. Elizabeth Siders was also indicted on 4 charges: 2 counts of battery and 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. I'm going to say it back and forth a million times probably. All right, the indictments allege that between January and September of 2022, guys, I was like, 2022? How? So did this part the youngsters just like come forward with the information, which is not unusual, right? Hey Pinto, how are you? We haven't seen you in a minute. You was in Kentucky visiting the fam? Oh, cool. How was Kentucky? Now, I don't think it was Elizabeth Sider's sister's husband. I think it was Gary's sister's husband, from what I recall. We'll get into it. I think it's in that news segment that I have, or one of the articles that I have. We'll see if we can clarify. She could be right. I may have it backwards, but I think because we've heard from Elizabeth Sider's family, she was estranged from them. We've heard from her brothers online, so I thought that I gathered he was once married to Sider's sister, Sider Jr.'s sister. Kentucky is your home. Nothing wrong with Kentucky. Well, there might be some things, but hey, all states have their shit. All right. So Elizabeth was also indicted on 19 charges: 2 counts of endangering the children or endangering children, 10 counts of endangering children, and 7 counts of endangering. So she's not charged with SA, she's charged with endangering children. Siders Jr., Senior, 73, the children's paternal grandfather, was indicted on 16 counts, or 16 charges: 10 counts of endangering children and 6 counts of endangering children. Christina Siders, 68, the children's paternal grandmother, also indicted on 19 charges: 2 counts of endangering children, 10 counts of endangering the children, and 7 counts of endangering children. The indictments in this case include charges in the alternative, meaning that multiple counts or different theories of a crime have been charged for the same acts. The indictments in this case include charges in the alternative, meaning that multiple counts or different theories of a crime have been charged for the same acts. Doing so allows for a complete and appropriate presentation of evidence to the court and jury. Indictments and criminal allegations. Indictments are criminal allegations. Defendants are presumed innocent unless proved guilty in a court of law. Let's see if it's in one of these articles, Morris. We'll take a look. So there's a list of the charges, guys. So for Christina Siders, 68, Senior Siders, 73, and Elizabeth, they're all charged with endangering the children. No SA crimes. Now, who are these kids from 2022? Because they weren't the Siders' children, they were somebody else's children. And where are the ties? So Siders Jr. could be involved with essaying someone else's child. What was he doing to his own children? Right? All right, so let's pull up what I have on the articles and see if what information's in there. There was two. Oh wait, I put the wrong thing in. Excuse me. My computer was like, "What are you talking about, ma'am?" Typo. Sorry. Okay, so I had two separate articles. They both came from the same um, outlet here. Was this? I think one was more thorough than the other, and they were just updated within hours of each other. I think this is the more updated one. Okay, let me get arrow. all the bullshit off the screen we don't need to see and all there are a million pop-ups. Okay, here we go. Okay, because we had seen a photo, right, surface of one of Siders Jr.'s sisters sitting on that front porch of the home in Hamden with her mom and dad. And we're like, did you never go in the house and notice the filth, right? I don't know what's going on with that. If that sister's connected to this guy or not, we'll see. Says two additional people were charged in connection with the Benton County child abuse case, and the public records indicate they are also known to the Siders family. On June 30th, the removal of 16 children from Benton County home drew national attention. Four adults were arrested and charged with 16 counts of child endangerment each. Gary Siders Sr., 73, Christina Siders, 68, Gary Siders Jr., 36, and Elizabeth Siders, 33. On Friday, all four were indicted on child um, abuse charges. Gary Jr. and Elizabeth were also indicted on abuse charges. She wasn't. The Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson explained that there were three parallel investigations ongoing. The child endangerment case was the most well known, but was not the initial focus. Instead, the state began investigating allegations of child SA in December of 2025. So that must be around the time either someone came forward with the allegations, and also the Dollar General allegedly was reporting, go check on these kids. Okay, but in this particular one here, led to charges for South Bloomingville men Josh Saunders, 23, and Brandon Henderson Sr., 40. And investigating Saunders and Henderson, officers also began investigating Elizabeth and Gary. On Friday, Gary Jr. and Elizabeth were both indicted on 2 counts of SA and 2 counts of unlawful SA conduct with a minor. Also on Friday, Brandon Henderson, 40, and Josh Saunders, 23, were arrested and indicted. It is unknown who the victims of the S battery are, but it is confirmed they are minors. Henderson was indicted on 21 charges related to endangering children, S battery, and gross sexual imposition. Saunders was also indicted on 3 counts of R and 1 count of gross sexual imposition. Records indicate that at least Henderson was also part of the larger Siders family. Okay, so that's the 40-year-old. According to their son in law, Ronnie Fletcher, Gary Sr. and Christina Siders had 4 daughters. And a son, Gary Jr. One of the daughters is Virginia Saunders, born Virginia Siders. According to marriage records, Virginia Siders married Joshua Saunders, 42, in April of 2003. So, see, he is his ex brother in law, once married to Siders Jr.'s sister, not Elizabeth's. So that they might have got the information a little bit wrong, but there it's okay. This could be wrong, right? But I don't think so. They got the records. So Virginia was Gary Siders Jr.'s sister, the daughter of Senior there and Christina, and she was once married to this Josh Saunders guy. Um, According to the records, they were married in April of 2003. Josh D. Saunders was later charged with murder and has been serving 15 years to life in the Chillicothe Correction Facility since 2009. Oh, hell. He's a bad guy. Bad, bad, bad guy. Wait a second, though. He's been in a facility since 2009, and the allegations came in 2022. Okay, Maybe I'm confused as hell. The Joshua. Oh wait, there's two. Oh wait, hang on. Hang on. There's more. Wait. Okay, that's why that's weird. All right, the Joshua D. Saunders who married Virginia Siders is not the same Joshua Saunders charged in the case. Oh, yeah. No wonder we're all confused. we're all, none of us know. All right, so let's see. Virginia and Virginia, Virginia and Joshua D. are still legally married, but court records show Virginia then had a relationship with Brandon Henderson. Oh, good God, Virginia. Court records show that by 2010, Virginia Saunders and Brandon Henderson were living together and were forcibly evicted from a home. The pair also evicted from a home they were sharing in 2011. Daryl, Daryl, and my other brother Daryl. Yeah, golly, what have we stumbled into for us? Okay, so Henderson's the other guy that was arrested, right? Yeah. And then her ex happens to have a name just like the other. Oh my God. What the fuck is happening? Okay. She's a busy one. All right. Okay, so Josh Saunders married Virginia is not the same Josh Saunders charged. Virginia and Josh are still legally married, Josh D, that is, but court records show Virginia then had a relationship with the Brandon Henderson. So she's still got ties to the Siders family, not from Elizabeth's side of the family. Okay, all on Gary's side. Court records show that by 2010, Virginia Saunders and Brandon Henderson were living together and then they were forcibly evicted. The pair also got evicted from a home they were sharing in 2011. Well, goodness, can't pay the rent. Okay. In July, NBC's sister station WOWK interviewed Fletcher, the uncle of the 16 children. I think we reviewed that interview here. And one of them stations doesn't like you using their stuff. Court documents show Fletcher and his wife, Virginia and Gary Jr.'s sister, are now the legal guardians. Wait. Okay, so Fletcher, the guy that was interviewed, and his wife, which is one of the daughters, which is Virginia and Gary's sister, Jerry's Gary Jr.'s sister, and her husband now are legal guardians of Virginia, the other sister's 15-year-old daughter. Fletcher is suing for parental rights over the 15-year-old's care. So what's up with Virginia Siders? Why are the seniors having children with such problems? Yeah, right. Love it. A little messy there, Virginia. Slow your roll, girlfriend. There's be, there's better fish in the sea, Virginia. She's looking for love in all the wrong places. Okay. So she has a child that somebody else in the family wants custody of. As part of the case, the court order, I wonder, since she had a relationship with one of the guys charged, is it her daughter? That's just a speculation. Don't put that out into the ethernet as a fact. That is just a speculation. It wouldn't shock me if that's the case. As part of the case, the court ordered a DNA test to determine if the girl's father is Brandon Henderson or Joshua D. Saunders. Oh my goodness. Poor little baby. Messy mama done. Ugh, fuck. The plaintiff was awarded custody of said minor child pursuant to an order in the Common Pleas Court in Benton County on November 7th, 2025. Virginia, I bet this is where this is all coming from. Virginia Lee Siders is the legal and natural mother of the above child. Said child was conceived as a result of an act or acts of intercourse between Virginia and defendant Brandon Henderson and or Joshua David Saunders Jr. Well, we know how it occurs. We just don't know which one she did it with. She was probably doing it with both at the same time. Oh my God. The mother, Virginia Leah Siders, is currently married to defendant Joshua D. David Saunders Jr. Oh, I bet this is where it is. Does it kind of make sense that that might be the case, that the child, I'm not trying to put light on that child, but if there's allegations they, did things with a child, it makes sense to me it was probably Virginia's child that opened the investigation, the timing, because they were awarded custody November 7th, and then the following month the investigation gets opened, right? Into the, okay, I don't know, but that would make sense to me. They all had access, including Junior, right, to this said child. Hmm. Plaintiffs are currently residents of the state of Ohio. Defendants Brandon Henderson and Joshua David Saunders. Defendants Brandon Henderson or Joshua is the natural father of the child. People just don't realize that they don't even consider the kids half the time. They're living in the moment for themselves, right? Oh, the baby will be fine. I'll just drag it through life with me, and whatever, we'll be fine. Don't be dragging your babies through your messy life. Put your messy life on hold till you get them grown. Then you can have at it. Wild woman, man, cave people. Per public records, Henderson is the uncle of the 16 rescued children by either the parentage or of their cousin or unofficially, but through connection to Virginia. So again, that is on the Siders family side. In relationship between the relationship between the 23-year-old Joshua Saunders and the Siders family was not immediately able to be confirmed. Wow. My cat just decided she needs to be a lap kitty today. Right, old Maury Povich show. Oh my God, those things were wild. I remember sitting there looking at that TV going, how in the hell do women not know who the daddy of the baby is? I could not imagine having to go on TV and ask for a paternity test because I'm unsure today. Like, girl, get a grip. Free love and all, but no, not that damn free. Yeah, because you have to wonder if Gary Siders is guilty, Jr., of these allegations on another child. Why would he not do the same thing to his own children? Maybe he didn't, but there's no allegations yet. Thank you, Butterfly. I'll check. There's nothing on his kids yet. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Um, but then again, they could be still forensically evaluating those children, right? Where did you put it? But oh, never mind. Got it. Come on, kitty, you got it. No, girl, this is not the time. If I try to mess with her, her claws come out. She try to murder me. Stop, cat. Go on, get out of here. That cat's a wild one. All right, thank you, Butterfly. Let's see. I have to do it. Oh, crap. Never mind. I knew better. I gotta go grab it off my phone. Hope this doesn't shut me down. Hold on. All right, let me do the. 1 second, guys. Let me grab what our girl got for us. Oh, Wait, when I clicked that one link, it wanted me to look up individual. Let me see if she's got it like this. Oh, okay, I got to put their names in. Hold on. I hate that butterfly because when you do the direct links like that, it still doesn't let you put. You have to go in and read enter everything. Okay, I think it'll let me search. Now it says no records found. All right, da, da, da. Let me see if I can get to the link where she got those from. Okay, public portal. Let me go pull it up this way on the PC. And we still have the news clip too and other stuff we can look at, but let's see if we can get this pulled up. Oh, let me turn that off. Benton County Common Pleas Court. No, I'm not trying to look at that. That's so crazy. Okay, Clerk of Courts. Docket search. Come here. I gotta do all the little thingies. Search the records. Alright. I accept all the BS. Now let's see if it'll work for me. Okay, let's see if this is his. Is this the old one or is can we pull it up? Let's see. Is it going to let us read the documents from here? Criminal complaint filed 6/30. Let me pull it down to the bottom here. You can view. Okay. Indictment filed by prosecutor. View the image. Yes, we want to view. All right. Thank you, Butterfly. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Let me get my shot together here. Screen up. Look at the screen up. Okay, now let me get my chat refreshed. Yeah, the Turpin kids was bad, same type of situation, but very different at the same time. I followed all about the Turpin kids and still do to this day. Um, Same situation, but different types of circumstances, right? Yes, thank you so much, Butterfly. All right. This is the Common Pleas Court of Benton County. This is the 13 pager. Again, the graphic warning is up, guys, because we don't know what's going to be within this document. We know it's a tough child essay case. All right. So filed August 21. Count 1, endangering children, Gary Siders II, or also known as Junior, on or about June 1, 2022 until May of 2026. So ongoing, I guess, to include possibly his own children, but at least that first allegation goes back to June of 2022. Hang on, guys, I was just making a note to myself about something. All right. Gary Siders II, on or about June 1, 2022 through May 29, 2026, at the County of Vinton, was a parent, guardian, custodian, person having custody or control, or person in loco parentis of a child under 18 years of age, who recklessly did create a substantial risk to the health or safety of redacted 5/30 to 2008. 2008, by violating a duty of care, protection, or support in violation of the Ohio Revised Code, um, endangering children. The violation resulted in serious physical harm to redacted. Hmm. All right, count two, endangering children. Again, it reads the same. Wait, different dates though. This one is 5/30, 2008. This one is substantial risk to health or safety 8/17, 2009. Violation resulted in physical harm 8/17, 2009. Hmm. Endangering children F3, on or about again June 1 through June of 26, 2022 to 2026. This one has the date of 3/13, 2011. How they get these specific dates, I wonder. I'm not doubting the charges. I'm just trying to figure out these different years and what's going on here. Yeah, the Turpin kids were so abused, right? It was so they went through hell. What the hell's wrong with parents? And this one just says physical harm and redacted without another date added. Okay. This one is count four, and the dates on these allegations are 2012, 3/28. And here on this one, same thing, except the dates have changed to 5/18, 2013. Hmm. Birthday, but this is allegedly about other children, not their own. And the kid, wherever these charges originally originated from, were not their own children. Those they haven't been charged with their own children essay yet. So that's what I don't know. Who knows at this point, Simi? Right? That's why I'm like, why are these dates are key, because these are supposedly children that weren't their children. These dates are 9/2/2014. Unless they update these charges to include their children, because right now they haven't. But they have left the door open for that. Here, this one, count 7, we have the date of 5/25/2016. Damn. What were they actually fucking doing to these children? Here we got the dates of 2017. From what we're understanding, this is 2 children. I know the date we just read the press release from the police department, and now we're going over the indictment. And it tells us the first, we're looking at all the dates right now, but it does say these are not the children of the citers, it's other people's children. So what do you mean the date of the offense is at the top? Yeah, we know. June 1, 2022 through 2026, but we have dates beyond that here. That's what I'm noticing. I read that part where the date of offenses were, but they've got all these individual counts have other dates listed within them. Count 9, same thing, all the same, except now this date is 10/27/2019. Here we have the dates of 9/29/2020 on count 10. Yeah, I'm reading the paper too. That's where I'm getting the information from. Where do you think I was getting it from, hun? I'm reading it, and I did say at the very beginning when we cracked open on or about June 1, 2022 through June 30th. But then we look at the paragraphs within, the dates are different. So that's what I'm noting. Don't know what it all means yet. Just reading the paper too. Count 11. This one is the same as well, same county, everything, but this one's got a 2022 date, February 10th. Okay. Count 12. This is the same date on this one. 2/10/22. Count 13. Now this is February 2022. The 3, all 3 cited that same date. Okay, this one, count 14, again, 2/10/2022. And also again on count 15. Now, these are all dates of allegations, but they didn't come forward with the allegations, I'm gathering, until June of 2022, right? That's what I'm guessing. Now, this one, the date of offense changes on count 16. This one says on or about January 4, 2024 through 2026, June of 2026. Now, going back to when I'm just thinking about the dates of Virginia's child. And then these dates seem to be more aligned with maybe the Siders' children, right? But none of the indictment come down on their kids yet. It's weird. So this says on or about January 4, 2024 through June of 2026. Same thing, parent, guardian, custodian, person having custody or control, or person in loco parentis of a child under 18 years of age who recklessly did create substantial risk to the health or safety of redacted. This occurred January 24, 2024. Yes, I get that they could be the birthdays, but the charges aren't against the Siders' children, right? So I don't know if it's their birthdays or not. That's my only thought process behind that. We have their birthdays, though. We have to go back and look up the documents where the media put out all the birth certificates. We have the whole list of all the alleged birthdays, so we can compare it. We can easily figure that out. But I don't know what the dates mean yet. These are dates of alleged incidents, but they were not reported until 2022, from what I'm gathering from beginning the document. But yeah, it could be birthdays, but I would be more inclined to believe the charges will be against their own children and they're like doing things to them on their birthdays. It's like, because you got to interview the kids, right? And ask them about this type of abuse. Are they going to recall the exact dates? Or on my, maybe if it's my birthday, this would happen, right? You can't take it off the table. Uh, These aren't the dates that I'm reading, like this one, health and safety of 1/24/2024. That's not telling me that's the birthday of the child they're making the allegation against, right? We have all these kids' birthdays, so we can easily go back and compare and see. But these allegations allegedly are about other kids, not the Siders' kids. So I don't know if it's their birthdays horrible things are happening or not. Yeah. These are dates, these are allegations, dates the allegations allegedly happened, the incidents happened. It's what it says. See, Gary Siders 2, on or about January 4, 2024 through June 30th, at the county of Vinton, and a parent, guardian, all the things, who recklessly did create a substantial risk and safety of redacted 1/24/24 by violating. Now, it doesn't say that's their birthday, that's the date of the incident, or, it doesn't clarify, but it reads as if that's the date of the incident. We read a lot of documents around here, and sometimes you have to kind of try to decipher them and whatever. This again, this is a date of 20 January 4, 2024, and the offense occurred on January 24, 24th. Hmm. This one again, January of 2024. This one occurs. This has got a date of January 20th, 2025. Maybe some of these are on allegations on their own children, but the media is reporting. Uh, I just Simi, you think I'm not seeing that, hun? But it's telling you two different things. Date of offense, at which each block says the same thing, except they are changing it at different ones. Date of offense on or about January 20th, 2025 through June 30th. And then you go and read the next thing right under it, create a substantial risk to the health or safety of redacted January 20th, 2025. But each block has different dates in some of them. Like, so I'm reading it verbatim off the page. I'm not getting confused. They're 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 doing it here in their document. I didn't skip over that part. I see it clearly. But if you go and look at the other ones we were reading through, they changed the date right here in the box. And that's what I'm noting. That one occurred January 20th. Okay. And that was that on that. I'll show you. And there's all the different charges. This really didn't tell us a ton, but if you go back up, you'll see right here, date of offense on or about June 1, 2022 through June 30th, but you drop down substantial risk to the health and safety of redacted with the date of February 10, 2022. So that's what I'm noting when I'm reading it. Yeah, I don't know, where it I don't know what the date. These are dates of the offenses. I don't know if they're special dates or not, right? I don't know. Let's go and see if we can pull up Elizabeth's. And then I'll get to that media report about where these other kids come into play. That's why, because right now it doesn't read they're charged with anything on their own children. But I don't know what the dates, there's a significance to these dates other than the date of the offense, right? At this point. All right, let me pull that website back up and I'll put Elizabeth's information in. Get to the bottom of hers. Let me get hers pulled up. I'll have to go find those other guys that were arrested, go get their indictments too. I don't know what you're talking about, Simi. What do you mean you'll shut the fuck up now? What do you mean 30 years later in different states? Are you talking about a different case, hun? Because I'm confused now by what you're saying. I'm confused now. I don't know. All right. So we're going to look at Elizabeth's now. Again, y'all, I don't know. So, okay, it starts out date of offense on or about June 1, 2022 through May 29, 2026. But the block's going to tell me something different. So I'm just going to read what it says. Elizabeth Siders on or about June 1, 2022 through May 29, 2026 at the County of Vinton, aforesaid was a parent, guardian, custodian, person having custody or control, or person in loco parentis of a child under 18 years of age who recklessly did create a substantial risk to the health or safety of redacted 5/30/2008. Now, is that their birthday or the date of offense? I don't know. It doesn't clarify. So everybody can just how to interpret it how we want to interpret it. It's not going to change anything. And like I said, we have their birthdays so we can compare. This one has the date of 8/17/2009. Now, with all the different dates, though, it could very well be their birthdays because they had 16 kids. It's a lot of birthdays. You know what I mean? This is account 3, endangering the children. 3/13/2011. We'll have to pull up. Let me make a note to get that birthday list again. We have it in the Discord. Well, it should be there. And if they weren't their children and they were two other children, was Elizabeth like in charge of their care and allowed because she's in charge, she's charged with endangering children. She didn't get the SA charge. So something's still not making sense with this case, y'all. And them going off and saying in the investigation that he was arrested on an indecent exposure. According to documents, they were trying to get his DNA. So why are we getting word salad and not the truth? Were you watching the guy and he peed off the porch and you're like, oh, there's our chance, go arrest him and swab him? I mean, what? I don't blame you, but you could say that. It's called transparency. Fools. And this one's got the date of 5/18/2013. Butterfly's probably looking in the Discord to see if we got that birthday list in there pinned. I don't know if I got it pinned or just in there. Hey Jay, how are you? Um, we don't know for sure. So no, these children are coming from Siders Jr.'s side of the family, and the guys that did it, that they're also the other two guys that are arrested. One is tied to Siders Jr.'s sister. So, and she has lost custody of her child to her other sister and brother-in-law, and I'm wondering if allegations came from that child, but I don't know for sure. No, we getting some rain in Florida the last couple of days. I have had no power for 2 nights in a row thanks to my rolling afternoon thunderstorms. Are you getting them too, Jay? We getting hammered here, and it's that time of year. It's just the norm. At least it's not a hurricane out there. I'll take the thunderstorm and my power go wonky, but I don't want the hurricane. Today is beautiful. I'll probably get my afternoon thunderstorms later. Okay. So again, she's got count 7 here. This has got a date. Who recklessly did create substantial risk and set health and safety to redacted. Now notice these redacted boxes are really short. You know what I'm saying? There's like not like these names or something, and that they all result in physical harm, serious physical harm. Oh, what do they do to these kids? I mean, it's bad enough to R them and physically harm them, but were they also like tying them up? What's going on? These weirdos, sick individuals. Ugh. There's too many of them out there in this world. Far too many of these nasty people. This one says a date of 10/26/2017. This one 10/27/2019. Now, as many kids as this woman had, you one behind the other, we all know these dates are very well could be birthdays of her own children. But then the kids would have to be like, yeah, on my birthday something would happen. That's disgusting. Again, speculation, everybody. We don't, please don't put nothing out there I said is gospel. Don't do it. Hey, Faye, coming in hot for 11 months of membership. Rachel, you need the storms. Keep those fires at bay. This one's got a date of 2010. Now hang on, because what's his name? Had like 5 counts on that same day. Same date, rather, not day. I don't know what's going on there, but it's a date. I wonder what was going on that date. This one's got again the 20 or 2 or shit, February 10th of 2022. And that's her count 12, count 13's the same thing. And 14 is the same date again. This one's got the January 24, 2024 date. They're matching up with Siders Jr.'s dates, right? Same thing on this one, January 24. January 20th, 2025 on this date. But January 20th again. William Archer. Now, if we pull up Grandma and Grandpa's, it's going to read the same as Elizabeth, so I'm not even going to get those and pull them up. But again, thank you, Butterfly. We found those right there on the county website there, guys. And all their dockets information is there, and we'll continue to follow that. Now, I'll bring up the local media piece that we have. Now, I can't remember which one of those local stations that doesn't like you to play their stuff, but they can bite me today. I don't care. Don't put your shit out on YouTube if you don't want people reviewing it. How about that? How about all you people who want to strike out against people who review you? Maybe you shouldn't review people either, ever, weirdos. I'm going to go out here and run my mouth and be a weirdo, and don't you dare review me later. Well, I'm going to. Don't worry about it. I'm living dangerously this weekend. I may or may not be medicated properly. It could get dangerous. Okay, let's see. I could be feeling real squirrely. Okay, this is from, which one is this media place? WBNS 10 TV. No, you're not supposed to be seeing something. I'm talking. No, I'm getting it pulled up. I had to get it pulled up. Watch nature. It's more entertaining. Some of it was entertaining. Some of it was disgusting. Okay, I live in the flesh. I'll be honest. Some was entertaining. Some was disgusting. I'm like, yeah. I got to go sit out back and really cleanse my soul now. Okay, let me get this up. So this is a local media piece on the case.
4 members of the Siders family in the Vinton County child endangerment case nearly 2 months now after authorities say they found 16 children living in what they called deplorable conditions inside a Hamden home. 2 family members, Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders, were also indicted on charges of sexual battery and unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. We have been following this case since June 30th, when law enforcement removed those 16 children from that home on Omer Street.
But tonight we learn that child endangerment investigation is actually the third of 3 separate investigations. 10 TV's Libby Cathy is joining us in studio tonight to walk us through the new details. Libby?
That's right, Yolanda, Jeff. We learned today what initially led authorities to the Siders' home where they discovered those 16 children. It was a separate child sexual abuse investigation, one initially involving 2 children and 2 South Bloomingville men, according to authorities.
See 2 other children and these 2 men. Now we know one is tied to Gary Jr.'s sister, Virginia. Virginia out there living her messy lifestyle. We already read about Virginia.
That's 23-year-old Josh Saunders, you see him on your screen, charged with rape and gross sexual imposition, and 40-year-old Brandon Henderson Sr., indicted on 21 charges, including endangering children and sexual battery. These men were arrested today. And that investigation led authorities to Elizabeth and Gary Siders Jr., and separate allegations that the couple sexually abused a minor in 2022. We're told that minor was not a member of their immediate family. Authorities were acting on that sexual abuse investigation on June 30th, there to collect Gary Siders Jr.'s DNA when they discovered the 16 children.
See, they were there to get his DNA, but we were told he was arrested on indecent exposure charge, which is fine, whatever. But be transparent out there. And this is an allegation about a child that wasn't theirs. So now it's like, wow. Right. That's why I was like focusing on those dates and telling y'all I don't know that they're birthdays to their own children, because these allegations are coming from other children. So it's just weird. I don't know what to make of all of it yet.
Sparking the child endangering investigation.
These cases began as an investigation into family child sex abuse, Law enforcement sought the DNA of Gary Siders Jr. related to the child sex abuse case. Once Siders Jr. was located, search warrants were executed to secure his DNA for genetic testing. Upon serving the search warrants,
His DNA for genetic testing to prove he essayed a child that from a different household? Why would you need DNA testing for that? Remember, we were reading that they don't know who the baby's daddy is to the Virginia's daughter. To investigate Siders Jr. on essay allegations of another child, why are you trying to collect his DNA? That means you're trying to match it to something.
for the child sex abuse case, the existence and condition of the 16 children at the Omer Street house became known.
So now all 4 Siders adults have been indicted on child endangering charges, and Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders are also facing those additional sex crime charges for abuse of a minor. And again,
You know, you can't help but wonder, that fucking creepy bastard Stefan Stearns had over 35,000 images on one computer taken out of daddy's storage facility. The cop says to Stearns' daddy in the interview, "We'll never find all these kids." Stearns' daddy wanted to act all, oh, my clutch his pearls moment. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll never find all those kids your pathetic son was looking at. Where do y'all think they get those kids from? Houses like this, possibly? Fuck, man. Red flags, y'all, to watch for with your weirdo neighbors or that one weird couple you see at the store all the time. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't worry about getting involved in something you think you shouldn't. Do what you think's best for those kids in the moment.
was not one of their children. So we reached out to the Siders defense attorneys about this, and attorney for Gary Siders Sr. sent us a statement saying, in part, they're still in the beginning stages of this case and discovery has not been received by the defense. He went on to say that defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty. Now, I went down to South Bloomingville today. No one I spoke to recognized Saunders or Henderson, but we are keeping in touch with residents there and staying on this story. Jeff, Yolanda.
Libby, thanks for that update. Certainly a lot more to talk about in this case. You can read all about it, all the details we have on 10tv.com right now, or you can watch.
So, again, it started with those 2 guys, and they were being investigated in an essay charge, and then that led to Siders Jr. And the next thing we know, they're out there, state investigators, watching that guy. And now they say it's to get his DNA. Something's still amiss here, guys. Oh yeah, the checks can be made anonymously. And we're also hearing now that the Dollar General employee called in a complaint to go check on these children. And I'll show you, let's take a look at the press conference. So it's like, we know now there were, we knew there was a parallel investigation going on between the Siders kids being found and him allegedly the indecent exposure charge. But now we're hearing 3 investigations were actually happening, right? Including that the Dollar General employee made a complaint. Now, did that complaint happen to come at the same time they were already investigating Siders Jr., right, on this information obtained from the other guys that were arrested? I think so. I think because we saw the one Dollar General employee go on the media tour and say, how the store would smell when they came in, and they would have to use the Lysol when they left, and that would linger. And these children, they only saw a few of them, and they were always dirty, and nobody's talking. Yeah. So it feels like they may have complained about the children's well-being, and that came in at the same time they were already investigating them on these other charges. From what I can gather, that's what this feels like. I don't know. I mean, if they're already, so they arrest the 2 guys, and during that investigation, they find out Siders Jr. It's not going to be hard to find out where that guy lives, right? It's just not. Um, I think they were already watching him when the complaint from Dollar General came in. But we won't know until we see the police reports with that information in it with the dates, right? Okay, let me pull up the press conference from the police departments and see if they can tell us anything in their staff. You know, they're only going to give us so much. Close to the vest and all. That thing that people think I don't understand it. Like, I do. I just want more information from time to time. All right, so the attorney general, I'm sorry, the prosecutor from Benton County and the sheriff himself both gave little statements. So we'll take a look. We'll start with the attorney general. They showed a little bit of this on that media clip we watched a few minutes ago. Okay.
These cases began as an investigation into family child sex abuse. Law enforcement sought the DNA of Gary Siders Jr. related to the child sex abuse case. Once Siders Jr. was located, search warrants were executed to secure his DNA for genetic testing. Upon serving the search warrants for the child sex abuse case, the existence and condition of the 16 children at the Omer Street house became known. The child sex abuse cases involved.
They were going to get his DNA for genetic testing. We just read they don't know who the father of Virginia's child was, but they were looking at the two guys they already arrested. Now, why were they considering he could be? Oh my goodness, that's Virginia's brother, though.
Of intra-family relations and do not pose a risk.
Lord. Y'all watch for red flags. That's all, you know, our takeaways with these damn cases. Watch for the red flags. Watch out for the babies.
Risk to the general public, and I would also add, does not involve human trafficking. This case all started with diligent Dollar General clerks calling authorities with concerns over children they observed.
That can't be true. It all started with a Dollar General phone call over these children, and that led you to go arrest two other guys on a completely different child SA case? No. What kind of word salad did you just hand me? It could not have started there. Watching Gary from across the railroad tracks made y'all realize, hey, we ought to go invest some other two guys on a charge? No. That's not how that went down.
We ask the public to be mindful of the circumstances around them, especially involving children. We continue to ask for the public's respect for the rights and privacy of the child victims in this case. I'd like to add a thank you to the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and BCI for their investigative efforts, which have been amazing. This case is going to be prosecuted by myself, Kara Keating, Assistant Attorney General, and Annika Collins, Highland County Prosecuting Attorney. Thank you.
A Vinton County grand jury today has issued indictments in 3 criminal cases involving sexual abuse and child endangerment. These charges stem from criminal investigations conducted by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations, BCI. The cases are being prosecuted by the Vinton County Prosecutor's Office with the assistance from the Highland County Prosecutor's Office and the Ohio Attorney General's Special Prosecutions Unit. In December of 2025, at the
Are they doing weird edits?
request of the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, BCI's Special Victims Unit opened an investigation into allegations of sexual abuse involving 2 children. Information obtained in this investigation prompted BCI in March of 26 to open a second investigation, this one involving allegations of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. On June 30th, authorities executed a search warrant at a residence in Hamden, Ohio, and Vinton County on Omer Street. There have been a lot of speculation and questions regarding the June 30th presence on Omer Street in Hamden. These indictments provide some insight into the ongoing investigation. However, to preserve the integrity of the ongoing investigation and to protect the victims, I conclude my statement here. I complete
my statement here. They don't give us much information beyond what we already had. Before I forget here, thank you, Autumn, for supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate that. Um, that doesn't make any sense for them to say that the tip came from Dollar General that opened this investigation, when we clearly read from the indictment they were investigating another case, which led to them looking into Gary Siders Jr. Oh, thank you, Butterfly. I just saw your text about that we got it figured out. We did. Thank you, and thank you for helping me get that docket pulled up as well. Still believe people turned the blind eye until it was out in the open. I mean, these kids weren't allowed out in the open too much. I don't know. I mean, y'all got to think about your own surroundings. Think about your neighbors right now. How well do you know them? How much do you look out your window and gawk at the neighbors and know their actual comings and goings? Who all lives in that house? All the things. My neighbors are scattered out. There's fields in between me and the neighbors, except for the one house behind me. But for the most part, we all kind of know who lives in those houses, what cars are usually there. But I don't sit outside and stare at their properties to see there are a bunch of kids running around. I don't know what's going on in their homes, right? Is my point. Um, I don't know how much people knew and didn't know. And a lot of times people don't want to get involved. They see things and they're like, God, is that what I think it is? Do I really want to get involved? What if it's not a lot of second guessing. That's why talking about these stories and these cases helps us just bring awareness, and what to actually look for going forward. And if you really got a gut feeling, go with your gut. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I mean? And it's also scary because we know DCF can do some crazy stuff. But if it's a real, I'm sorry, if I'm working at the Dollar General and I got a family coming in all the time, and there's kids that I'm noticing over and over, and they're smelly and there's just not right in their world, I'm probably going to pick up that phone and make a formal complaint. My conscience at night, I couldn't lay down and sleep. I don't want to follow that lady home and say, "Can I take your kids and bathe them?" Right? I'll give them all a good bath and a good hot meal, and I'll put them to bed safe and sound. Bet. And if y'all can share your thoughts and opinions here, you're safe. I mean, we don't know what's all going to come out of this case and what isn't yet, how deep it's going to go, on the involvement, if there's going to be any more allegations come down or charges come down within their own family, with their own kids. Let me see what this is. Oh, that was what I'd already received. Okay, thank you. Okay, I've got my chat pulled back up so I can see it clearly now. Yeah, it's when the kids are involved. Look, I have literally stopped in my tracks in public to put an extra eye on a situation that I might not have felt right about, right? What did I just observe, right? Is everything okay here? And I'm going to be quietly watching over here in the corner because I don't know you know what I mean? It's just awareness. But I'm kind of programmed in my mind. If there's a baby around, I am like Mama Bear. Nope, nobody's touching it. Saying the wrong things had to be clipped out. It's just getting the pertinent information out there in a professional manner, right? Here we go with our editing. Well, Eva, we all our gut may tell us one thing, right? Our intuition may say one thing, but we're like at the same time we don't know. That's what even with this case. Uh, briefly, Forrest and I wondered, where are these other? This is before the indictment came down, like literally probably 24 hours before, or 48 maybe, before this new indictment came down. We were like, where are these where are these further charges? When are they going to come? Why is it taking longer to get any more charges if they're going to come? Is this a situation where we have prosecutorial overreach, where it's just a really bad case of horrific child neglect, right? Dirty house, no food and water, and all the things? Or is it going to go deeper? And when will that happen? And then boom, we got the damn new indictment. We can't say we do. What do you mean prosecutorial overreach? Look at Karen Reed and look at Lindsay Clancy. That's prosecutorial overreach, right? Charged beyond what they should have. And that's what we were wondering, was this case going to play out that same way? And now we see there's more. Oh, good Lord, a man beating up his wife while he's driving down the road. Goodness. I prefer the clean, quiet country living. I've had enough of the city. The city can have the city. It's noisy down there, and there's a lot of people. I'm good out here with just the birds and the fields. They're growing stuff. I'm close to nature, man. I'm close to earth. As close as I can get. A generation younger and only give a crap about themselves. Yeah. I mean, it's convenient living in town where all the restaurants and shopping are right there. But at the end of the day, I prefer just living way out here where I don't have access to all that, because I'd probably spend all my money eating out and going shopping. Like, girl, stop it. And I'm not even big on shopping. I just like to get what I need and want. Like, I don't have a lot of needs and wants. Like, I'm such a simple, easy person, right? I'm not hard to please. But I will definitely go eat at a good restaurant in a heartbeat. You don't even got to twist my arm. But living up here, you do, because it's too far away. Like, you better be worth it. Butterfly in her 16 months. All right, guys, I wanted to come in and give you that update on the Siders case update there, with the new indictments, with the new charges and allegations there. Grand jury indictments again handed down. Now, a lot of this stuff was sealed up from the original charges, but I'll go to the docket and see if there's anything there we can take a look at. And we'll keep an eye on this case going forward as it moves through the system, obviously. Now that the indictment has come down, they should be arraigned on these new charges. So I'm assuming those arraignments will come next week. Yeah, I've lived in the urban setting for years, right? The rural life is where it's at. I always told myself when my kids were little, I'm gonna move, because I always came out here, right? This is home. But I've always came out here because the creeks, the rivers, and things. And I'm like, one day I will live out there, and now I do. We are blessed. I'm blessed, and I know it. I'm blessed I can hop in the car and I can be at the beautiful shore of the Gulf of Mexico. And I said Gulf of Mexico for a reason, because I can't change my ways. I'm old. I can be down there, 30, 40 minutes tops. Let's take a look real quick at the Wanderers update thing. Hold on, let me get it. It's pinned right here. Where you at, Wanderer? Idaho docket coming in hot. Stacy Wanderer right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new ones. Amended notice of hearing for motion in limine to exclude canine experts. Okay. Notice of hearing for motion in limine. Alternate perp evidence. Oh, we're about to crack that open. Notice of hearing for motion in limine to exclude experts. Oh, the canines. There's 2 of those. Why? Notice of a hearing for motion to suppress defendant statements. Of course you want those suppressed. Oh, a notice of a hearing for the motion to suppress the Thanksgiving letter. Holy shit, this just turned into another update. I need to go update my update. Notice of hearing on the motion to dismiss. Okay. These were all dropped on the 20th, 2 days ago, and I got the serious hiccups. I need to go grab a water before I start reading these. What? Okay, Australia, what are y'all doing? I might like this. We live in the suburbs, and our properties have non-see-through fences all around. We have 2 meters between our home wall and the neighbor's wall. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's neighborhoods in town like that. You can walk outside and reach out and touch someone. I can't do that where I'm at. I reach out and I touch no one. I love it. Yeah, he wants everything. Rachel says, oh boy, he wants everything gone that he ran his mouth. Yeah, Just Me says he's dreaming. All right, Stacy Wanderer, dream on. Dream until your dream comes true, you fat, nasty bastard. Remember that movie, Fat Bastard? That character, Fat Bastard? All right, well, y'all bear with me while I take a moment to go grab my water and a quick bathroom break. I'll come back and read that. What do y'all want to? Y'all want to hear Simi's song while I'm gone? Y'all want to be feisty today? Do I still have it back here uploaded? All right, Simi made us a song. I'll put it on loop. We'll play Simi's song for a minute, guys, while I run to the restroom and grab my water. Let me see. Do I have this on loop? Wait, this ain't it. Where is it? Yep, that's it.
You want the truth, you're here for salty sleuth. Time for some cussing and discussing. Come on in now, take a seat, we're digging up the cold hard truth. Salty's here to spit the facts, no fake stories, no backtrack. This is the no bullshit zone. Truth cuts deeper than a stone. Salty crew stand side by side, sharp like smart and along for the ride. Oh, salty ain't gonna take your shit, calls it out and never quits. If you're stirring up drama, you're getting the boot, cause the moms keep watch with salty stew. Truth don't bend, truth don't stoop, step out of line and a boo, 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 boo. You want the truth, you know the root. Salty's got the facts and the lies get called out. You want the truth, you know the root. Salty's got the facts and the lies get called out. Salty ain't gonna take your shit, calls it out and never quits. If you're stirring up drama, you're getting the boo, cause the moms keep watch for salty stew. Truth don't bend, truth don't stoop, step out of line and boo, 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 boo. You want the truth, you know the root. Salty's got the facts and the lies get called out. You want the truth, you're here for salty sleuth. Time for some cussing and discussing. Come on in now, take a seat, we're digging up the cold hard truth. Salty's here to spit the facts, no fake stories, no backtrack. This is the no bullshit zone. Truth cuts deeper than a stone. Salty crew stand side by side, sharp like smart and along for the ride. Oh, salty ain't gonna take your shit, calls it out and never quits. If you're stirring up drama, you're getting the boo, cause the moms keep watch with salty. Salty's got the facts and the lies get called out. You want the truth? You know the root. Salty's got the facts and the lies get called out. Salty ain't gonna take your shit, calls it out and never quits. If you stir up drama, you get in the boo, cause the mods keep watching Salty stew. Truth don't bend, truth don't stoop. Step out of line, and boom, 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 boom. You want the truth, you know the root. Salty's got the facts and the lies get called out. You want the truth, you're here for salty sleuth. Time for some cussing and discussing. Come on in now, take a seat. We're digging up the cold hard truth.
All right, I'm back. Thank you. Did y'all enjoy Simi's little song there? A little smart assy, isn't it? It's a little smart assy and sassy, but we don't care. All right. I had to get me a cute AI song because Trisha Griffith, I don't know what her name is. The woo woo lady had one, so I wanted one. Okay. Stacey Wanderer, what are you up to? Let's start with dismissing the indictment. It's only a 2-pager. Okay. Notice of hearing for motion to dismiss pursuant to the IC 19-815A and motion to dismiss pursuant to ICR 25 and ICR 48. Please take notice that the defendant will call for a hearing for his motion to dismiss pursuant to the code, and a motion to dismiss pursuant to a different code on September 29th. Oh, so they're going to have a motion hearing on the 29th at 9 a.m. All right, I'm writing that down, guys. We'll put that on our calendar of events. So far, I think they've aired most of his hearings. It will be that they did change the venue. So this is at Canyon County Courthouse. I knew they had changed the venue. That was recent. Okay. This is the motion to dismiss the Thanksgiving apology letter. Okay, take notice. The defendant will call for a hearing on this motion to suppress the Thanksgiving apology letter on October 7th this year at 1:30. Grifterson. Grifty McGrifterson over there. Hey, Connie, welcome in. How are you? All right, so that's 2 hearings. Let's see what else. The motion to suppress the statements. Hang on, let me make another note. This is the Thanksgiving letter because we can do a show, a primer show coming up to these dates. So people who aren't caught up can get caught up. This is in the disappearance and murder of Michael Vaughn, guys. Stacey Wanderer is charged with little Michael's disappearance and death. All right, this one, notice hearing for motion to suppress the defendant's statements. This will be held on December 4th. At 9 a.m. Now, of course, will he get any of this thrown out in court? Doubtful. This one, let me get this screen up. Again, these are only like 2-pagers, guys. This one is notice of a hearing for the motion in limine to exclude the canines. That will also be December 4th. So it looks like this is all these are. Okay, then there is the alternate perps. Is there going to be a hearing on that? Are the alternate perpetrators the other people that lived in the house? What's going on here? Hold on, I had a stray piece of hair that was really bothering me. Oh, I had a stray piece of hair in my headset. It was bothering me. I took it off to pull it out and was talking to you guys. And I'm like, wait, the headset and mic's not even anywhere near me. Okay, whatever. Okay, this is the motion in limine on the alternate perpetrator evidence hearing. They're giving him a hearing on it? Or is he just asking for the hearing? Notice defendant will call for a hearing, uh, his motion in limine regarding the alternate perpetrator evidence on January 8th. All right. I'll have to see if there's a alternate perp evidence filed. All right, this is to exclude the canines. I read it, one of the documents, like I think it was about a week and a half ago. I was trying to get caught up on these docs. This is a amended notice of hearing for the motion in limine to exclude the canine experts. Motion in limine to exclude canine experts on December 15th. Motion to seal records was filed 8/4/2026. Michael Duke, Payette County Prosecuting Attorney, moves the court for its order sealing the state's objection to the defendant's motion in limine, re alternate perpetrator evidence, and memorandum in support of the state's objection to the defendant's motion to dismiss filings submitted by the state on August 4th, as they contain private contact information regarding phone numbers. Idaho, y'all need to be real careful with what you're doing, because we're having a hard time with y'all already. Redact their names and redact the potential information you claim is the problem. Because y'all got a big problem right now in the Idaho 4 case. Red flag. We don't go sticking evidence in another folder and calling it hidden or not founded. We're not doing all that. The state has concerns that the public listing and phone numbers would be highly objectionable and reasonable. That is standard. Just redact it. The court further moves the court that those subpoena deuces take them. Okay, that's FBI. What are we doing? Be immediately sealed. Where was the order on that? Let's see. That was filed the 4th. Notice of hearing, amended subpoena. Let's see what this one is. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this one is. It might be Brandy's subpoena. Let's see. This was filed on, when is the date on this one? This is the 4th, I think. Okay. State of Idaho to the Idaho Health and Welfare in care of Idaho Office of the Attorney General. You are commanded pursuant to ICR 17B to produce or permit inspection and copying of the following documents or subjects, including electronically stored information, to the Canyon County Office of the State of the Public Defenders at the address listed above. or alternatively to appear at the place, date, and time specified below and produce the subpoenaed items and provide reason for noncompliance. If this cannot be supplied prior to the hearing on September 2nd, 2026 at 11:15 before Judge Brent Whiting, please bring physical copies to any and all welfare checks and or reports of abuse, neglect, sustained or unsubstantiated for Brandy Christine Vaughn, aka Brandy Christine Tabo, and it gives her date of birth. Robert Tyler Vaughn with his date of birth. Aria Vaughn. Why are they not redacting those? Kyra and Benz. These are all dates from 2016. Any and all welfare checks and or reports of abuse, neglect, substantiated or unsubstantiated, for the address at 9th Avenue in Fruitland. Okay. Further, you are noticed that your disobedience to this subpoena or your refusal to be sworn may be punished. Are they wanting Brandy to bring in like claims that were made against Brandy? Well, I think everybody who lived in the house with old boy here has got dirt on their hands, in my opinion. Every freaking one of them. I'm not going to sit here and say that they were not involved. Okay, status conference subpoena. Here we go. What does this one say? Yeah, that's what that is. Okay. Motion to produce sealed hearing transcripts. And then there was an order. Okay, this one says come Stacy Wanderer, the defendant in the above named case, through the counsel of Isaiah Govia, State Public Defender's Office, moves the court for an order to produce and the record of the sealed hearing held in chambers at the beginning of day 3 of the prelim. Remember when you had a preliminary back in March, guys? I don't have it up on the screen yet. It's just like a one page. There was a sealed portion of that hearing, and they want the transcript from it. I didn't know there was any welfare checks either, Rachel. So I'm a little like, what is that? Right? Order to produce the transcript came down. Order request to obtain approval to video, audio record, broadcast, or photograph. That was ID News 6. And we went over the new documents that came out. I'm looking for any other pertinent documents that we haven't that may give us a little more information. Now here's the one that I read. Let's see. This one's about the canines. This came back in July 31st. It was a motion to continue a hearing regarding the defendant's motion in limine on the canines. Is this the one that I read? Explain why they didn't want them in. Let's see. I'm going back to the docket, guys. Motion to appear remotely, defendant's mother. Order to, this is back in, was that for the prelim? I'm looking for the alternative suspect information documents. This is a memo in support, motion in limine to exclude the canine experts and motion for hearing reliability of the scientific evidence. Let's crack that one open. Okay. Memorandum in support of the motion in limine to exclude the canine experts and the motion for the hearing under IRE 702 on reliability of scientific evidence. Comes now Stacey James Wanderer, the defendant by and through his attorneys of record, Anthony Geddes and Isaiah Govia, and Abby Broyles, Idaho State Public Defender's Office, and hereby submits the following memorandum in support. Motion in limine to exclude canine experts and motion for hearing under IRE reliability of scientific evidence. Okay. Statement of facts. On July 27, 2021, Michael Vaughn was last saw by his father, Tyler Vaughn, around 6 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. when Tyler went to lay down with his youngest child. Around 6:45, Tyler ordered pizza. He went back into the living room and noticed that Michael was no longer on the couch playing with his Nintendo Switch. Tyler began to look around the house and the splash pad, as Michael was known to wander the neighborhood. Police were called at 7:21 to report that Michael was missing. From July 27 until present day, Fruitland Police Department, along with the FBI and countless other law enforcement agencies, have devoted magnitude of efforts to find Michael Vaughn. To this date, Michael has not been found. See affidavit filed June 25th, 2025. As part of the efforts to find Michael, Fruitland Police Department tapped into the live scent tracking canine and human remains detection canine networks to try and help find leads, to find some lead as to where Michael was located. Exhibit 10. Starting on July 28, 2021, Fruitland Police Department employed canines from Idaho Fish and Game, Idaho Mountain Rescue, Mercer County, California Canine Banshee, and Handler Wit, Mountain States Detection Dogs, Inc., a company ran by Julie Gibson and her two canine partners, Jody and Yannick, and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, canines. Exhibit D. As late as February 4, 2025, Fruitland Police Department employed Fide Canine Cold Case for Canine Resources. And you can see Exhibit D, it says. Notably, from all canine searches performed at the preliminary hearing, the state focused on 3 canine teams that includes 1 canine and 1 handler. This is an Exhibit F. These teams were Handler Wit and Canine Banshee, Handler Gibson and Canine Yodi, Handler Hurlbert with Canine Bannock. However, between July 21 to February 2025, there were the following canine searches, both tracking and cadaver capabilities. July 28, 2021, Canine Daytona with Handler Roy Olson and Flanker Brian Marinelli, Canine Shotsky with Handler Lisa Barr, and Flanker Maya Davies, Canine Blue, and Handler Craig Michelson. Goodness. On July 29, 2021, Canine Oscar with Handler Ann Moser and Flanker Taylor Grissom. Canine Kika with Handler Arnold Beltran and Franklin Taylor Grisham, and Canine Raven with Handler Maya Davies, and Flanker Tom Welless, Canine Cato and Jen Skeldon, and Flanker Taylor Grisham, tracking teams in around the neighborhoods. So they go on to list all these dogs. I'm not going to keep reading it because this is a lengthy one. Again, August 1, 2021, Nick McDiver. August 2nd, Canine Banshee with Dustin Witt. August 3rd, again, Canine Banshee with Handler Witt. August 4th, Canine Kika. So they're going through all the canines. Let's see. Let me get this where I can control things better. A little more fluently here. Okay. Let me get through them naming all of them, guys, to see what their issues are. Okay. Of these canine searches, both of live scent tracking and human remains detection, the following positive alerts occurred that the state presented at the prelim hearing during the March 2026 hearing. Canine Banshee with handler Witt tracked 3 trails based starting not at the Vaughn house, but at a random intersection with scent pads from a pillow used by Michael. Now, this is a 28-page document. I don't know if reading all of it is even needed, because I want to find out which particular canines they want out, right? And why do they want those particular ones out? Or why are they questioning their abilities and their handlers' abilities, right? That they want these out. It says one of the trails led to a set of deer antlers in a yard. Okay. Canine Banshee with handler Witt tracked 3 trails based on starting not at the Vaughn house but at a random intersection with scent pads from a pillow used by Michael, as well as family members, and a shoe used from Michael, with the possibility of other family members being on those shoes. So then Exhibit F, K9 Banshee, was in scent according to her owner and followed 3 trails. One of those trails led to the set of deer antlers in a yard. One of those trails leading to the edge of a bluff area where Banshee was seen was so in scent that the trail was ended, even though Canine Banshee attempted to go into a particularly thorny, overgrown bush. They do use dogs all the time, but defense attorneys are going to attack every piece of evidence they can. Not only the officers' training and experience, but the dogs too. So when I'm covering cases and when I go to read documents, I'm reading all the documents, right? Whether we believe what there's, could it be throwing shit at the wall? Obviously. Sometimes we do need to question training. Sometimes we don't. But I'm always willing to listen, hear them out. What is their whole point of this whole thing, right? Are we just particular dogs? They will only be on the job for a few months. They may not be accurate. Well, they didn't lead to anything, right? So what is their big deal about these dogs? The more and more that you see scent dogs coming into court, the more and more you can bet defense attorneys are going to challenge them. Yeah, I think that's where the big wheel was found, Rachel, in the thorny bushes. They didn't stop. It's like when the K9 was looking for Sebastian Rogers and he was in scent, he dove right into the retention pond. People don't want to hear that, but you can literally hear it on the dispatch audio. Max dove into the retention pond. Pow, dove right on in there. Like he needed to go in there after a scent. Right? This dog tried to get all up in the thorny bushes. So they stopped it, and they could see there was a tricycle there. So them saying that he was stopped, right? Like he was purposely taken off a scent. So they can try to get us with their word salad, but we're a little too bright for all that. We're a little too bright for all that. Where Banshee was so incensed the trail was ended, even though he attempted to go into the particularly thorny, overgrown bush. See, they stopped him. Well, yeah, because they didn't want him to get thorns all in him. Oh, goodness. One trail led to the corner house on Meadowbrook between the man door, I think it meant to say main, and the garage area. And they give the address. Yodi detecting human remains outside of the Snowball house. Bannock and the handler Herbert detecting human remains in the backyard of the Redwig house. See? There's problems. You can't pretend there's not, right? That they don't mean anything. It's fucking canine dogs. Have they ever found this child anywhere? No. So why are we even worried about these canine dogs? Because they dug up the backyard in Wanderer's house. Exhibit K9 Yodi and Yannick and handler Gibson alerted on the trunk of a white Lexus car in the Fruitland impound lot on January 29. K9 Augie and handler Atkinson also alerted to the trunk rather, it says truck. They make me sound like I'm an idiot. Trunk of the white Lexus car, Exhibit B. However, it is unclear whether K9's altered to the maroon GMC truck. Good God, how many people's got bad? Y'all, if a canine came through your neighborhood because of another crime, would they hit on your shit? Like, oh, why y'all on my car, dogs? Get away from it. Nothing occurred at my car. What? Get out of my yard, canines. Nothing to see here. However, it is unclear whether the canines alerted to the maroon GMC truck or the blue Toyota car that were allegedly used in the kidnapping. Oh, goodness. They're like, why would it not hit on the cars allegedly used if it hit on these other cars? See? Yeah, dogs are always a great go-to tool. We are not sitting here going to try to discredit the dogs. We're not doing that, right? We know they're so valuable. When buildings collapse, when earthquakes happen, and they're pulling people out of this where man can't get there, these dogs can scent it out, right? And they can find they have so many capabilities. And I, for one, will praise dogs all day long because I know how smart they are. I also know I got idiot dogs occasionally, right? But I take it all with a grain of salt. I'm just reading the document, trying to figure out why the defense has got an issue with the canines all of a sudden. When we know they're usually good to go, right? But you got to question the training at all times. Well, you got to first of all make sure your experts are okay to bring into the court, Rachel, right? Even though this is Wanderer, still get the experts in there. I mean, we don't want a cray-cray expert coming in and saying, you can't believe the scent dogs. The jury's going to have to hear from experts on both sides of the fence now. I like to evaluate these cases and look at all the aspects. Otherwise, I don't even need to be up here talking, right? Just wait to trial. Like, I don't want to wait. I want to read it now. So I don't know where they're going to go with it. They're probably going to be allowed to have the information in. It depends on exactly what the information is they're trying to keep out. You can't just do a blanket 28-page document. I want all the canines out. Well, why? Tell me why. You don't just get to come scream you want them out and get your way, right? You better get specific as to why. But you got canines running around hitting all over everything in the neighborhood. I mean, what do you do with that? Canines also searched the Redwig house and did not alert on anything inside. Importantly, as related to the Wanderers, there were several searches that resulted with no alerts. On November 15, 2021, Mr. Wanderer consented to a canine cadaver unit to search his backyard, and the unit did not alert on any human remains in November of 2021. A cadaver canine unit was deployed inside the Redwig house and did not alert on any scent human remains. In addition, canine alerting to the Wanderer's backyard in November of 2022. See, 1 year no, nothing, and the next year we got something. Now am I going to be forced to put on a defense attorney hat when I don't want to, right? In addition to the canine alerting to the canine ain't gonna make or break this case for me, right? It's just not. In addition to the canine alerting to the Wanderer's backyard in November 2022 and the live canine scent tracking the scent from Michael Vaughn's shoe to the garage of the Red Wing house, there were other positive alerts related to the case. And why are they hitting on somebody else's house? See? I want all these trials to be fair. Every single one of them. All these victims deserve a fair trial. Not just the defendants, the victims deserve it so they can make sure the people who hurt them go to prison and it sticks. I want all the cases done the same, every last one of them. We're seeing a lot of, and don't do it in the dark like Delphi. Don't make me question it later. Don't make me question it the whole time. Don't do that. We're just so sick of that kind of stuff. We got to demand better across the board for all of these cases. So again, going back to these alerts, Yodi on this one says, let's go back to here, this July one. Tracking sent from Von Shu to the garage of the Red Wing house. There were other positive alerts related to the case. On July 28, 2021, K9 Blue and handler Michelson alerted at 907 Southwest 9th Street. Exhibit 1 on February 27, 2024, K9 Yodi with handler Gibson alerted to a concrete drainage ditch on Highway 16. And W West State Street in Ada County. Exhibit E on November 24, Yodi and Yannick with handler Gibson and K9 Augie with handler Atkinson, K9 Ember with handler Olson, all searched Birding Island. Where's Birding Island at, Rachel? What is that? I'm asking Rachel, y'all, because she's from there. She's from the state of Idaho. So they go to Birding Island, and here's the address, 4660 Northwest 2nd Ave in New Plymouth. What is that and why they go there? And all the dogs showed interest in an area covered by sawgrass and cattail plants. Okay. The next morning on November 25, 2029, K9 Yodi and handler Gibson alerted to a different area of the pond. So it's like a big pond area. Okay, yeah, map time, Rach. I wrote down the address. I guess it's probably a pond near their neighborhood, I'm guessing. Argument. A hearing on the admissibility of the state's evidence is required in order to fulfill the foundational requirement to the admissibility of expert testimony and evidence pursuant to the IRE 702. Expert testimony is governed by Idaho Rule Evidence 702, which provides a witness who is qualified. Did Brent Turvey read all this beforehand? A witness who is qualified as an expert by knowledge, skill, experience, training, or education may testify in the form of an opinion or otherwise if an expert's scientific, technical, and other specialized knowledge will help the trier of fact to understand the evidence to determine a fact. Oh, Lord, they need to sit down, Brent Turvey. We got to read you some stuff about evidence 703 and 702 in Idaho, sir. Furthermore, under this evidence rule 703, it says an expert may base an opinion on facts or data in the case that the expert has been made aware of or personally observed. Now remember over there in Lindsay's case when the prosecutor's questioning the defense, well, did you do this? And I observed all the notes, right? I went through all the facts and the data of the case and made my conclusions. All right. If experts in the particular field would reasonably rely on those kinds of facts or data in forming an opinion or inference on the subject, they need to be admissible for the opinion to be admitted. Like, they want to hold a whole ass Daubert hearing about canines because we know they can. Sounds like some word salad. Thus, the evidence is admissible under the rule. Okay. Idaho Rule of Evidence requires the court fulfill a gatekeeping function. Well, that's a dangerous word to use with Idaho. Gatekeeping functioning to prevent unreliable evidence from being presented to the jury under the guise of expert testimony. We don't want no guising going on. We need none of that. We need real experts. No guising. We God dang. It gave me anxiety. Guising. What the fuck, Idaho? Hey, Kresha. Difficult research. Mowing the lawn. Oh, girl. Well, you got to do that early in the morning or late in the evening here. You braved it, didn't you? She's like, I braved that shit. Did you own it? You better sit down and cool off now. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so Idaho Rule 702 requires that this court fulfill a gatekeeping function to prevent unreliable evidence from being presented under the guise of expert testimony. Again, Brent Turvey. He was a guise. We don't need that. The methodologies. Okay, we know what all this means. It's kind of like it sounds like they want to hold a Daubert hearing on this shit. For this type of testimony in particular, the reasoning or methodology underlying the opinion must be established to be scientifically sound and based on reasonable degree of probability. Information in the form of testimony by a canine handler about the presence of scents from live scent tracking canines or the presence of human remains from cadaver canines, which prompts to provide information that a scent was tracked from one area to another to elude or clude to the person related to the scent was present or that human remains were detected in that area. The trial court must be cautious to ensure that the testimony provided meets with foundational requirements of reliability prior to being presented to the jury. But the state's proposed expert testimony from Canine Banshee and handler DeWitt, Canine Yodi and handler Gibson, Canine Bannock and handler Deborah Hubert, whatever her name is, or any other canine, and the handler duo team regarding live scent tracking or human remain detection is so problematic that a separate hearing must be held on fundamental flaws and lack of required substantiation for evidence that the state is now seeking to admit. What evidence came from the cadaver dog searches that they're wanting to admit into court now? They think I don't know how to read a court document or understand it. I'm not those Idaho 4 channels screams, make it make sense when I read a court document. Occasionally, but I'm going to go Google it and make it make some sense. I thought I heard a noise in my yard. I was about to say, get out of my yard, whoever you are. The live scent tracking and human remain detection by canine to which a handler interprets is so unreliable that any testimony should be excluded pursuant to a Daubert. Because the Daubert hearing is what they do to test the validity, right? The Fry hearing in New York, Daubert hearing everywhere else. Because the theory cannot be tested. Oh, hell. No safeguards to ensure scientific validity. The method is not analogous to other scientific techniques that have been scientifically validated. First of all, what kind of evidence are they trying to bring in that these canines would have found that you want so badly out to say their canine scent nose sucks? What are you doing? Probative significance of the evidence under the circumstances is the case is low, with the prejudicial nature of the evidence is high. What evidence did they find? There are several issues that require the exclusion of any testimony relating to live scent tracking and human remain detection canines. First and foremost, the purpose of the utilization of the canine and police work is to assist in locating missing persons or human remains. In this case, Michael has not been found, either alive or deceased. The canine units in this case were utilized with the purpose of locating either Michael or his remains. Although there have been alerts on the scene of human remains, uh, that means absolutely nothing to a jury's inquiry into whether at some point Michael's body was in the Redwig house's backyard, and those alerts at best show that some form of human decay. So the Redwig house is their house, right? And when they dug up the backyard, there was like the scent hit. So what the question was Michael ever back there and then moved at a later date and time? The dog hitting back there as a cadaver dog, is that enough to say, yeah, he was back there? Where did he go from there, right? At some point, Michael's body was in the Redwig's house backyard, as those alerts at best show some form of human decay. Whether that be blood from a finger cut in the backyard while doing yard work, or blood seeping into the yard from a water source. What? Blood seeping into the yard from a water source. When one has possibly cut themselves shaving. Like in the bathroom, and you cut yourself and then it runs down the sink and seeps into the ground in the backyard. I gotta take a moment for the for the defense on this one. Okay. Oh wow. Oh boy. I bet that was some difficult research. Fuck. What? Y'all be careful for that seepage into your groundwater, your water seeping into your ground. It might get you one day. Of blood seeping into the yard from a water source. Okay. Turning to testability of the scientific evidence in this case, it is impossible to test the results. Whether Michael or a scent related to him was found in the Redwig house, or whether Michael's human remains were at one point in the Redwig's backyard. Unlike scientifically sound tests, such as the presence of controlled substances by a chemist, or the blood alcohol concentration from a driver measured by a machine, or even a psychiatrist making a diagnosis based on interviews, god dang, their affect and words didn't match, with the use of testing measures. The use of canines to determine the presence or absence of scent-related things is not testable unless under control. Now, I will say this. If you come at me with a group of canines, I'm going to ask where they got their training and how long have they been in business, right? How long's your dog been doing it? I don't want canine Jules coming. If you know, you know. I don't need none of that smoke coming at me, Canine Jules with her dogs. I don't need it. Part-time actress. Part-time missing kid finder. Part-time troublemaker. The methodology for human remains detection canines and live scent tracking canines is not analogous to their scientific techniques. All right, we're getting the gist of it there. They're not wanting these dogs in. They want to have a whole ass Daubert hearing. Okay, well, let them have it. Likewise, since there is no basis, data is verifiable to it's the judge's job, right, to determine. Let him determine on, sir. Don't be lazy. Verifiable to the court or the jury. All right. Nothing other than the handler's interpretation and what it means, specifically when there is nothing to show for the alert. There is nothing concrete that the jury could look at or any basic data that could be pointed to the canine smelled something, and that means there are, ergo the person was there. Yeah, I hate to say it, but as a defense attorney, or why are we even entertaining these canine dogs? I mean, I could tell the jury all day long these dogs hit in the backyard, but we never found his body. What does that do for me as a prosecutor? I don't even know that I would be worried about bringing that in. If I got to read more of the documents to determine did they find anything worth bringing into evidence, then I'm going to need the dogs to come in, right? I know there are some excellent dogs out there with good training, though. I'm not knocking all their training. I will knock Canine Jules all day long and twice on Sunday. If you know, you know. If you don't, we'll educate you here one day. But a lot of us already know about her. But a lot of these canines are on the up and up. They are perfectly fine, but they didn't find his body, right? And how can I have a dog alert one year and then the next year they do? That's a little problematic. That's all that is. If the evidence doesn't help your case, why bother with it? But I don't know if it doesn't help them yet. I don't know yet. In this case alone, it is evident that there is not a consensus among canines and that they alerted on. For example, the human remain detections as it related to the Redwig's house backyard cannot come to an agreement on whether there are human remains and where those are located. The cadaver dogs we run on November 15, 2021, a few months after the disappearance, an alleged burial in the backyard of the Redwig house. However, on November 15, 2021, there was no alert when the handler had no knowledge that the house had any significance. And then you fast forward to November 12, 2022, several cadavers alerted on the same backyard that was decided did not have human remains a year earlier. See? That part right there. Problematic. The only and I have to be honest with every case. I want Wandra to fry too, and you hurt a baby, you're dirt. But at the same time, I'm going to evaluate each case fairly. It is what it is. And just because one piece of evidence, that's why they got to do all these investigations right from jump. Don't give these people anything to come back on later, right? And if you didn't yield anything from your canine searches, what is all this, right? Fast forward, it says alerted. Oh, okay. The information that changed was an assumption that the body of Michael was buried in the backyard, which was known to the handlers. So, first time the handlers go out there, no hit. Then they learn that there's a possibility. Now they got a hit. Is that persuasive thinking? Do you know what I mean? I know, Sarah. I get it. I hope y'all are not. I'm unpacking the legal side of this. I understand the implication that he was back there and then moved. So I understand why the dog didn't find the body. We're trying to figure out if this can come into court or not. When I start reading the legal aspects of it, that's where my train of thought goes to there. Not, I know why they were in the backyard, right? I get that part, but what does that mean for a jury? You can't prove that body was ever back there and then moved simply because a dog hit back there, right? You want these charges to stick, and you want the jury to not get lost, and you want the jury to find him guilty. So you better be careful as to what you present in front of that jury. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to present shaky evidence, right? That the jury can't get by. Look at what happened in the prosecution with Lindsay Clancy. She didn't give us one damn thing we can go, aha, maybe on. Not one thing. That's her fault. Same thing happened with the Casey Anthony prosecutors. They come in with some junk science. They damn sure did, and it blew their whole case. And that was sad. I don't want to see it happen again. So if these canines can't tell us anything, I don't even want to bring them into court. I don't need it to figure out what that man did to that kid. Whether or not his body was ever in that backyard or not, it's irrelevant at this point to me. He could have took that body anywhere, which obviously they did, right? It's not there. Two groups of cadavers cadaver canines were dispatched to sniff the white Lexus car. A set of dogs alerted on the vehicle on January of 2025. However, a few weeks later, with a different group, there was no alert. See, it's just different dogs, different handlers. That's what this is why we're reading this document. Yeah, we want them in jail. We want them charges to stick. I don't know who runs their mouth about this case, Rachel. I don't watch any of that. You know what? I didn't watch all that in the back. But when we go talking tonight, some of these people who are accused of crimes or want to accuse others probably should not come to social media with it. I don't watch anybody that covers this case. Nobody. Just like Summer Wells. All this stuff, I don't watch any of that because none of that's going to get me anywhere as to what happened to those cases, right? So I don't know what's all being said out there, running mouths and stuff. I don't know what none of that is. If they're being ugly to Brandy, you can damn sure let me know because there's enough of that going on these YouTube streets. Ugliness is everywhere. As for the live scent detection dog, the trail was started at a random intersection and not Michael's house, and the scent was used. And the scent that was used was a scent that could be attributed to Brandy Neal Vaughn, Michael's mom, who used the pillow. The family laundry that was done, where a sock was washed with one oh, y'all no, y'all just fed them the same story you fed the Abby's mom. Well, the way the investigators told me, we don't want to test all that DNA because our laundry is laundered together and our DNA could have got on each other's clothes. They gave her some word salad and she fell for it as to why they wouldn't test certain hairs found at the crime scene. Again, no DNA from Richard Allen. This guy says a sock could have got washed with that pillowcase and the scent pad was formed. Okay. Could have. Since there was not a specific person that was attempting to be apprehended starting from a particular starting point, the fact that the live scent tracking may have tracked a trail to the Redwig house has little significance, he says. The defense concerns on the reliability of scientific methodology are specific. The assumption that a canine can track a scent from one location to another to prove in court of law what a person present at that location that the tracking ended is unproved theory. With the theory being unable to prove, the defense is left with little information as to the validity of the search. The defense is unable to question about the accuracy as there are not set methods and nothing to look at in a specific dog, but we know how it works, sir. Was he more like a manual, like a cookie cutter thing for your dogs? Start here, give them a scent, see how far they run, follow them, photograph. Nothing came of the search, except they hit in the yard. I don't even know why the prosecutor would even make that a big deal. I may get why they would want to tie it back there, right? See, he was here, but not if we got these random weirdo hits all over the place. Although dogs are trainable, if you spend enough time with a dog, you learn their cues, that they need to use the bathroom, they really want to go on a walk. Dogs pick up on humans as well. If nothing is found, the handler knows from the police the theory, the case. What? Okay, don't tell handlers anything. Just say, hey, can you bring your scent dogs and your cadavers, and we're just going to turn them loose with the scent. Don't tell them anything. What? He think the dog got the tunnel vision? And he's like, I'm going to lie and say I smell a scent here when I don't. He's accusing the dogs of lying. Tunnel vision dogs. The dog's like, oh yeah, you think he was back here? Hold my beer. I'll get you a scent in 2 seconds. Like, what in the world? Defense is unable to question about the accuracy, although dogs are trainable. If you spend enough time with a dog, they pick up on all your cues. Okay. They got to go to the bathroom. They want to go for a walk. Nothing is found, and the handler knows from the police the theory of the case are that you are being pointed to a specific area. Then the canines can pick up on that energy. Oh, good Lord. So the dog has ESP. He sees the cop talking to the handler. The cop points in a location. Handler nods in agreement. The dog's like, aha, I picked up what you're putting down with my telepathy, my dog telepathy. See, now we're like, what? What would you word salad? Yeah, they're gonna have to narrow it down for sure, Rachel. It's gonna have to be. There even the prosecution has to know that as well. Yeah, we have a location not far from here where these dogs are trained. There's a really cool lady that trains these dogs locally for canines for law enforcement. Actually, her place ain't too far from here. I don't know. What did Stacy call the dogs? Abracadabra dogs, did he? Instead of saying cadaver, he said abracadabra. That fucking does it. That does not surprise me, just me. Cadaver, abracadabra. Exactly, Sarah. Exactly. They would have to have some type of gray water setup where the sink and shower are out, like an outdoor shower, right? And it's seeping into the water, to the ground like that. But they're like in the bathroom shaving, and you cut yourself, and it goes down the drain into your septic tank or to your whatever you have at your system, your county system there. Um, yeah, be careful. That shit'll get in your ground, and next thing you know, you're in trouble. There's nothing to differentiate. I can't get the word out. Differentiate between whether the canine is truly smelling human remains that belong to a specific person, or if the canine is alerting to the fact that the energy is different with their human. Dogs are smarter than that, sir. You know, you went a little too far with that one. It's okay when your dogs are hitting on different things at different times of the year, same thing, but come on, stop it. Under the totality of these issues, the issue with canine handler and their handlers is that the focus is on the conclusions and the final alert. The focus should not be on principles and methodology, which is in this field of canines and their handlers do not a set of principles used to employ their services in the meaning of any alert. The methodology is in question, as well as there as not an independent organization or standards that control the detection of tracking. Without finding anything that confirms that Michael was at the Redwig house or that his remains were found buried at the house, there is nothing to confirm the assumption based on Canine's alert interpreted by the handler. Either of the things are true. So if all they've got is to go by telling them that child was in that backyard at some point is a random canine hit, that's not enough to prove that child was ever in that backyard. But that we're not waiting on that piece of evidence to decide on these charges against him or not, right? I'm not. Hey, Happy, welcome in this morning. Says likewise, for live scent tracking, the possible presence of a scent is not in itself illegal. Human Human remains detection canines and live scent tracking canines with their handlers can be valuable if the result is that the missing person is found or human remains are recovered. However, without having something to verify that in fact the canine is correct and the handler is correct in reading the canine, the mere speculation that the dog may have sniffed human remains and may have picked up on a scent, the goodness. Of a tracked person is not scientifically valid. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'm just kind of overreading his nonsense here. Let's see. Idaho case law. Canines are used for probable cause and not for the identity or presence of controlled substance in a vehicle. So when the dog alerts the car and you find the drugs, now you got to test them to make sure they're actual substances. I got to get used to saying substances so YouTube won't get all annoyed. Okay, so the case law says use for probable cause. All right. To the defense's knowledge, an Idaho court has never let a canine and their handler testify that we alerted on the vehicle, but we didn't find controlled substances. However, since the canine alerted and performed a final alert, there must have been drugs in the vehicle at this point. So this is sufficient proof that a person possessed the drugs. Goodness. So there was a blind test in the impound lot. In Idaho, there are no cases on point specific to cadaver dogs. However, out of the United States District Court of California, there are a few on point. This one is Gadian versus Katovich, I think. The defendant was charged and convicted of second-degree murder, where he was alleged to have killed his wife and rearranged the house to look like a burglary. The police impounded the defendant's car and asked two cadaver handlers, Cohen and Smith, yawned out of nowhere, to inspect the vehicles. Smith, who is a volunteer canine handler with LA County Sheriff's Department. She has specialized in handling cadaver dogs trained to locate dead bodies and parts of bodies. Smith's dog Flash, who was 13-year-old border collie, was certified cadaver dog trained to look for bodily fluids. During the blind test in the impound lot, Smith and her canine started to hit on a separate car ridden with bullet holes and soaked in blood. Smith pulled her canine away and told her dog to check other specific cars 6 feet away. The canine circled the car and jumped in the trunk. In the appeal, the defendant was challenging the attorney's representation, a part of which was failing to present expert testimony about the unreliability of the dog's scent. Oh, good Lord. It was noted during the testimony that Flash cannot differentiate between blood from a live person versus a dead person. Wow. So they getting into the word salad of it all. So y'all get the gist. They want those dogs out. But what did the dogs find other than they alerted on the backyard, right? But nothing was found in the backyard. No body, no clothing of Michael's that we are aware of. Defendant presented during the appeal a declaration from the Associated Professor Myers, who reviewed Smith's testimony and concluded the dog scent evidence was unreliable as indicative to the presence of decomp human tissue. So they want these dogs to be very specific. Like, are you a bodily fluid dog? Are you a cadaver dog? Are you a live scent dog? Some of these dogs can work multiple things. Some do not. I don't know, but they're going to get their alternate perpetrator hearing in at the top of the, or not at the whole, we covered the Siders case, and then we did, someone asked about Wandra, so I was like, let's go look at the docket, because I knew there was some stuff, but then there was other new stuff added. So yeah, they got motions hearings coming up September 28th. I'm sorry, 29th, October 7th, and December 4th, and January 8th in this case. And I just read the newest documents that were put out, and we just cracked open this one to take a look at it. Trying to keep the canines out of the courtroom, and they've cited case laws. I'll have to go back and look at the state's document, right, about the canines, because I think everything's pretty much sealed through here, though. Like, what, any evidence that they find other than they hit on the backyard? And like I said, they did change motion. All right, so the motion to suppress the apology letter came back in June. Thanksgiving, the motion to suppress Thanksgiving apology letter, that motion came down June 26th, and now we know they have applied for the hearing for that. Do they do a case summary here like they do for Coburgers? Let me see. No, we don't get the case summary here. I can go all the way back to 2025 and 2026 at the Payette County level, but now they have switched to transferred everything over to Canyon County. Well, they've already had the preliminary hearing, and we got, like I said, we just went over the motions they got coming up and the hearings they have coming up. Now, we all know that chances are, yes, Michael was in that backyard at one time and then moved, but he wasn't there when the dogs went. And it is a problem, if you're being honest, that they didn't hit on the backyard the prior year. Then the following year they come back and now there's a hit in the backyard. What does that even mean for a jury? Like, last year, no hit. This year, a hit, but still no body. I don't know if I would even risk bringing that in to court. And they dug up the backyard. We all know that, but nothing was found. So at some point when we start reading the court stuff and the documents, I'm looking for what's there. What are they going to allow in that courtroom, and what are they not? You know what I mean? Yeah, no problem, Sarah. I've been wanting to get to a Wandra update. I'm going to fix my title to reflect that we did get a little update in here as well. And we'll get another show in where we'll deep dive some of these, some of the other documents, because they just switched over to the new county. Like, that just came down like a few weeks ago. I keep this docket pinned right here at all times. We got quick and easy access to it. You know, Brandy's been through enough. It's time to get a resolution. Or there's no closure. There's the next stage, right? There's always going to be the next stage. Yeah, Happy. We've been needing to get an update on him. And this Lindsay Clancy trial is about to wrap up, guys. It'll be a minute before we cover another trial. We got to get our bearings back about ourselves. I guess we'll see closing arguments on that on Monday. Like I said, so September 29th is the next hearing for Wandra. We'll put together a show, guys, and we'll get a big case update going, and we'll go over all the documents that have been filed and see where they're kind of sitting now and where the next step is. Get through these pretrial hearings. There's one scheduled for January 2027. There won't be a trial till after that, right? So it's going to be a minute before this case moves through the system here. All right, guys. I will be back later tonight. Not late. I really don't know what this. I don't have any plans today. I think my family just took off, the boys. So this Saturday, we all just do our own things. I will be back in a few hours, though, with another show. This one's going to be about cleaning up the YouTube streets. We're not going to be able to do it ourselves, but we're going to talk about some stuff that's going on out there. And I'm not here to tell people how to do things or what to do, but we can share our disgust for a lot of it. I'm just going to talk about some of it that's out there. The icky needs to go away. A lot of it needs to stop. I don't even think half people know what's going on or why it's even going on, right? Or why it's continuing to go on. And it goes on across the board in a lot of cases. We're just going to try to keep our chat clean here, bring in like minded people who want to come for true crime that's not grotesque, gory, and grifting. Because that's getting a little old too. Because the way I see it, the grifting is not going on by the true crime community. It's going on by the people trying to tell everybody true crime's grifting. They're the grifters. Right back at you. All right, with that said, I'm going to go grab something to eat, go touch some grass for a little bit, all the good thingies. Again, thank y'all for the support. I appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up, get the show out there, get the information that the show contains out there, right? Help get the updates out there. And I'll see you guys back here in a few hours. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you all for watching this here.